Hello, this is a video of my new painting. My name is Temple Rose. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about it. I've been interested in visionary artwork for some time. I worked on this piece the other day. I'm starting to put in a blue border around the white outline in this center object. To get the blue border, I'm using a thin brush and heavyweight light blue paint. It's really important to get the right amount of water mixed with the paint so that it spreads evenly, but with something like that, a thin line, if you have too much water, you're not going to get the clarity in the line that you really need. It'll get kind of washy. You'll have to wait until it dries. The paint is always drying, and once it dries, I will go back over it 3 to 4 different times to get a deep, vivid color. This painting was inspired by some old drawings that I did. You can see here one of the original drawings that inspired it. This was with oil pastel. And then just the other night, I just did a quick sketch in my notebook, trying to play out some different ideas, getting the grid, the eye, the central composition. The reason that I chose the flaming eye, it's an ancient symbol, as far as I know, mostly from yoga. Contemporary painters like Alex Gray use the eye a lot to represent consciousness, awakening, higher energy, often associated with meditation and expanded awareness. The flames around the eye represent a sort of passion, and then the drops underneath are a way of showing that divine inspiration pouring downward towards the earth. The grid lines around it, I'll be brightening those up later. You can see I'm on my second round adding the light blue. It is somewhat difficult to lay such a thin line and to go over it repeatedly. It requires some concentration. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the viscosity of the paint and to use the brush. I'll get quite a bit of paint on one side of the brush, lay it down, and start rotating the brush to keep the color even and to get good lines. Adding the blue around this white border, around this central object, helps to just give it an electric feel, like it jumps off the page. Also really helps to distinguish it from the background, which is more washy, has darker colors. When this painting started, I started with a black base. The whole canvas was just painted black. I drew in the image originally just with a white pencil. It changed quite a bit from the drawing to where it is now. I eliminated a lot of lines, I redid the lines. The eye, however, remained pretty similar. The fire around the eye changed a lot as I added the colors. When I'm adding these different lines, it tends to grow, get wider. Now I'm actually going back into the white, edging on that blue. It started to pull into the white, and the white started to become thin. Also, there's areas of the white that once it dried, it needed to have another layer put onto it. As you watch, you can actually see the blue fading and pulling. And so I will be adding another layer of blue around the outside as well. I do sell art prints online at Little Kitty Paws SF on Etsy. This will be up on there as well. Looking to do a photo session for this tomorrow. Was hoping to finish the painting today, but there's going to be a few finishing touches going on it, maybe even later this evening, so that tomorrow I can set it up during the day and get a quality photograph of the image. Once I get that photograph, I'm going to have to put it into a photo editing program to size it and make sure that the coloring is matching the original work of art. I like this one. It's a small image. I've been doing paintings of animals, animal portraits, all varieties of animals. And on those, my spouse and I work together on the same canvases, going back and forth. These visionary works at this point are my own hand, a solo project, if you will. There I am going back in with the white once again after doing another couple layers of the blue. You can see that the blue now is starting to come through really brightly. That took about 4 layers to build it up. When you build those various layers one over the other, it is important to step away for 10-15 minutes once you're done with each round to allow the paint to dry and the water to evaporate so you can keep edging. There I'm touching up the white inside of the various areas inside that central image. I like using the heavy paint for these different lines. You can see it there, the white and the blue. Those are heavier paints, and then these two here are lightweight paints. Those light ones are kind of cheaper, but they are really good for layering. And in this case, it's going to work really well for the background so that it doesn't become too bold. It has a thinner, more washy look, especially once it dries. On this video, it's going to look more bold than it will tomorrow once the paint has set. These lines are actually much more difficult to do, those long strokes, trying to keep it looking even, like a single sweep. Oftentimes I'll need to use additional water for these longer sweeps, and I do want it to be more transparent in the back, so the water to paint ratio, there's more water in it so that it'll pull, and once it dries it will fade into the background a bit more. It'll soften and not be so bold. The grid lines are a convention that's used a lot in the visionary art scene. It helps to suggest a space for these abstract transcendental objects. The grid is really something that's been promoted a lot by the artist Alex Gray, and he makes amazing work, and I'm certainly inspired by his work. This piece in particular, I was referencing some of his paintings to find out what direction I should go with this type of abstract work. When working in this sort of abstract realm, you never know what something's going to look like until you've done it on the canvas. So there is the tendency to hesitate, but I have decided to just go for it. Once I'm done laying down these white lines, I'm going to edge it out with some of the light blue, using the lightweight paint once again with more water than I did for the central image. As I'm going in there with the blue, I thought it might be great to have it overlap the white line, especially more closer to the central object, and then have it be more next to the line at the outer edge. That way the line ever so slightly gets thicker towards the outside of the canvas than at the interior, and it gives it just a small amount of extra depth. You can see the blue really electrifies those lines against the orangish, pinkish background. Those lines are going to look a lot softer once it dries. It's always important to step away and let it dry so you can get a better idea of what it'll look like and what lines need to be touched up. Getting close to the end here now. Like I said, Etsy.com, Little Kitty Paws SF, have a lot of paintings up there, prints for sale. And there it is, getting really close to the end now. Well, that's good for today. Doing lots of line work. Maybe you enjoyed the video. Maybe it helped you learn how to do some painting. Maybe you just thought it looked cool. Thanks for joining me. Check me out, Temple Rose.